Start now. Good afternoon, respected Excellency, Ambassador of Italy, Mr. Andrea Silvestri, respected Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Arianid Hoxha, representatives from the Ministry, State Inspectorate, universities, most of all, respected farmers that have joined on today's webinar. My name is Elena Mladenovska-Jelenkovic. I'm the CEO of M6 Educational Center in Skopje, which is Center for Transformation of the Individuals, Companies, and the Society. This is why I'm very pleased and honored that we started a joint project with the Italian Embassy and Italian Trade Agency in Skopje. Project that is transformational and that can help our country to transform in many important areas. Project that was initiated by the Ambassador Silvestri himself at the beginning of this year. This is why the main goal of this project is through a series of events to provide comprehensive knowledge from their best practice case studies on the Italian experience in the field of agriculture, food production, and ecology, and to try to implement them in order to have sustainable development here in North Macedonia. Today is the first of many planned events within this project. The topic of the event is the Organic Challenge. And on today's agenda, we have the introduction of the project in this webinar from Ambassador Andrea Silvestri. We have guest speaker, Mr. Arianid Hoxha, the Minister of the Ministry of Agriculture, who will have the brief presentation of the current state of the organic production in North Macedonia. Presentation of the Italian experience in organic agriculture, Mr. Riccardo Meo. Then Mr. Giacomo Mocciaro will speak on the benefits of organic production for the producers and best practices and case studies of marketing and distribution channels. Ms. Ambassador Silvestri, thank you again for this initiative. I would like to invite you to address this presence here today.
Thank you. Poštovani ministre Hoxha, dragi gosti, dame i gospoda, very pleased to be here to introduce this first webinar on the challenges of organic agriculture and food production. This meeting is an example of the excellent cooperation Italy and North Macedonia already have in agriculture and agro-food. In these fields, our cooperation is not only commercial one, but encompasses also the institutional level. In the past, we had many EU twinning projects, and we are ready to continue to support your Ministry of Agriculture, also through a memorandum of understanding that we hope we will be able to sign soon. In this framework, we plan, as you said, to intensify further our cooperation through a series of meetings and events that we intend to organize in cooperation with the Ministry of Agriculture, our Italian Trade Agency, and the Training Center M6. The aim of this project will be to promote dialogue, exchange of experiences, and sharing of best practices in the field of agriculture, food production, and environment. Actually, in these three fields, Italy has developed over the years a model that encompasses a productive, social, and environmental concept, combining efficiency and sustainability, thus reflecting the characteristics of an advanced country like ours, but also in compliance with the objective of the Agenda 2030. In the last decade, agriculture and agri-food in Italy have undergone a profound transformation. Nowadays, agriculture is no longer just a traditional sector, but it's a growing and technological one, with an overall value now higher than the value of the automotive sector, just to give you an idea. So it's a trendy sector, looking to the future, but attentive as well to tradition and to the aspects of sustainability, as in the case of organic. In North Macedonia, agriculture is still very important, accounting for 9% of the GDP. The quality of the arable land and the good climate create a favorable environment, but there is still plenty of space for improvement, especially on the side of value added reckoned to the producers. Your country has also beautiful mountains and picturesque rural landscapes, and this is also a resource that could be further exploited and valorized. Well, we intend to cover all these topics in the seminars we will organize over the next months. In particular, we are planning to share with you the Italian experience, best practices in geographical indication, implementation and control of phytosanitary standards, agritourism, sustainable rural development, just to mention the first items, the first subjects we would like to touch. But the reason we decided to start with the organic production and its challenges is that this sector in North Macedonia is still at an early stage of development, both in terms of production and sales. Today, the organic production in North Macedonia involves more than 900 producers and approximately 5,000 hectares of certified lands. The production comprises dominantly cereals, fruits, and forage. The internal supply chain is still underdeveloped, considering the size of the local market and the underdeveloped distribution channels. Most companies are export-oriented. And this is also another aspect of interest. So all in all, the organic sector in North Macedonia holds a great potential, but there are numerous challenges to be addressed, technological, organizational, and so on. This concerns both the external and the internal level, considering the growing interest among the consumer all over the world to buy organic products, in line with the need for a healthier lifestyle and a more sustainable production model, given that the organic production method has a low environmental impact, implying a lower use of pesticides. Then there is also the role of agricultural policies and determine the legal framework of this sector, and that should progressively be harmonized with the European directives. This, since the European Union is the main export destination for your products, and also in light of the future joining of North Macedonia to the European Union, where the complete alignment with the acquis is a prerequisite. But I'm sure that Minister Roja would like to tell us more about all these topics. As a matter of fact, the existing law on organic agricultural production already regulates the general provisions related to the production, processing, marketing, and labeling of organic products. Maybe there is more to be done in terms of bylaws in order to complete the legal framework. May be necessary also to strengthen the controls of the state inspectorates in order to avoid fraudulent activities that may harm the export of these products and their reputation. But as I said, the overall priority remains the completion of the institutional legal framework, accompanied with adequate policy to sustain the growth of organic agriculture and consolidate the supply chains, encouraging contracts among all stakeholders. At the same time, organic products need a stronger promotion with adequate marketing and communication campaign in order to raise the awareness of their value among the consumers. Because only through the recognition of the value of organic products, we will be able to provide higher prices and profit margins for the producers. In the logic of the system, this will be the counterpart for complying with many specific rules. The Italian experience, dear friends, in this regard is particularly significant. Just to give you a glimpse of the growing importance of this sector in Italy, I think that in the past 10 years, the cultivated land in organic agriculture increased by 80%, reaching almost 2 million hectares. This was followed by a reduced use of pesticide by 40%. The consumption of organic products grew by 180% 10 years, reaching a market value of 3.3 billion euros this last year. These are the reasons why it could be very useful to share with our experience with all relevant Macedonian stakeholders. institutions, associations, companies, and farmers, academia, all represented today. Today's webinar, two Italian experts in agriculture, Dr. Mocciaro, expert in our Ministry of Agriculture, and Dr. Riccardo Meo, expert from ISMEA, our Institute for Services, our financial institute of our ministry. They are there. They are among the best experts we have in organic agriculture in Italy, and they will give us an insight of our experience in this field in terms of government support and subsidies, control, form of association, best practices, case studies. By the way, Dr. Mocciaro participated some years ago in the twinning project on organic production that was led by Italy. That was aimed at harmonization of the law that you had at the time in order to comply with the EU acquis of the time. Let me conclude by saying once again that I'm personally convinced that North Macedonia has a great potential to develop its organic agriculture. And through this webinar, we hope to be able to contribute to its growth. Thank you. Благодарам на сите.
Thank you, Ambassador Silvestri, again for the initiative and choosing M6 as a partner in this project. Traditionally, North Macedonia is a large producer and exporter of agricultural products. Until last year's, it was 12% from the GDP dedicated from agriculture, and now it decreased to 9%. Macedonia is at the early stage of organic food processing and marketing. As Ambassador said, and the organic production is of relatively recent date and is still below the potential of the country, even though there is a high demand on foreign markets. I would like to invite Mr. Hodja, the Ministry of Agriculture in Republic of North Macedonia, to address you, and he will speak on the potential of organic production and planned steps for its further development. Mr. Hodja, the floor is yours. We cannot hear you, Minister. Не се слуша. Проверете доле кај audio settings. Perhaps we should invite the next speaker, or те молам помогнете му на министерот. Before the problem is solved, maybe some couple of sentences about the state of agriculture in our country. It's an opposition of Italy in the 80s. Italy has done a strategic focus on agriculture development and has done tremendous improvements since then. and now it's recognized by its quality agricultural products, food and tourism. Ambassador, what was the crucial part, or maybe Mr. Mocharo can answer because he's from the Ministry of Agriculture. What is done differently in the 80s in Italy and now?
I don't know whether Dr. Mocharo wants to intervene, but there was a tremendous change over the last year. You said in the 80s, I'm thinking, for instance, the wine sector. This was a very important one, but with very traditional methods. And at that time, there was also a scandal, I remember. There were some problems in the production, but from that time on, we changed a lot. We put a lot of controls. We made a lot of investments. And over the years, we've been able to keep a large production. We are the first producer in the world, but at the same time, we develop a quality production with much added value for the producer. Of course, this has a cost, but it was an investment. So at the end of the day, it was a good choice.
It was an excellent choice. Now Italy is the third producer in the world, I think, for the wine in particular.
No, the first or second, it depends on the years, but we are in the top position always.
You already mentioned that, and we are here. We invited the people from the universities. One of the crucial part that you mentioned is the increase of quality. Increase of quality means change of mindset here in the people that are in the farming industry and in the food production industry, which means implementing standards. How did you change the mindset of the people in the to refocus on quantity or quality over quantity?
This was a process, and you needed all the stakeholders to participate in it. I mean, this involved the production, but involved also the market. You need an evolution of the tastes, of the sensibility of the producer, to be able to pay a bit more for better products. And you need also education in school. All these aspects have to proceed together. I don't know whether Dr. Meo or Dr. Mocharo want to add something.
I think we had a gradual change in the way people look at agriculture. In particular, there is a higher awareness about the role of agriculture in the context of not only as an economic activity, but also with regard to as a keeper of land, we underlined, and the people is more aware now about the responsibility of farmers as regard not only the landscape, but also in order to have a good environment, and this has also big impact with all the society, not only for farmer itself, but for all the society. I think this is very important, and this is also a part of my presentation, but I can give you some. I can tell you something in advance, because people choose organic for different reasons. One of these reasons is because they would like to protect the environment, and because they would like to have quality product without any sort of contamination. At least in Italy, this is very, very important, because I think in the 80s and 90s, especially after the entry into force of the first EU regulation with the specific logo for organic products, people realize that they can impact and in the choice of the farmers by buying certain products rather than others, and the price of the products is not the only aspect to be considered when you buy on the supermarket the product, but now the consumer in Italy is more responsible, pay attention also to other aspects. And it's not easy to have this change. It's very gradual. And I think that even in this moment, the biggest market for organic products are market like German market or the northern countries of the Union of the European Union, and also United States. So we export, as the ambassador said before, that we export a lot of organic products outside Italy. This is very important, but through different initiative, we are trying to increase also the level, the market, and to develop the internal market as well.
Yes, and you sell artisan food to the tourists. You combine excellent agro-tourism and these topics, the food industry and organic production. Let me check whether Mr. Arianit Hoxha is back again. Minister? Okay. So let's continue. I would like to welcome Mr. Are you here, Minister? I would like to ask Mr. Riccardo Meo, the expert in the agriculture and market policy, who will speak on organic farming in Italy. Mr. Meo?
Okay, good afternoon. Can you hear me well? I will share my presentation. If there are some problems, please stop me. And I think everything is okay. First of all, I want to thank you, the ambassador, Mrs. Serena, and also my colleague Giacomo Moccero for having invited me to this very interesting webinar on organic challenge and the organic sector in the future. I would like to give you very quickly, as soon as possible, an overview of Italian organic sector, and a lot of things were already anticipated by the ambassador. In particular, I would like to give you some data and some trends related to organic challenge and what happened in Italy until now. So this is on the first slide. We can see where is Italy now in a worldwide context. What we can see is that concern the organic surfaces, organic land that we can see on the left of the slide in the first graph. Italy is on a 9th position in the world. So if you consider our agricultural surfaces dimension, is a very good places, because as the ambassador said, we have almost 2 million hectares cultivated with organic methods. So it's also more important to analyze our position in a European context, where also the surfaces are more similar among the different countries. And in this context, Italy is now in 2019 on the 3rd place for organic areas, after Spain and France that succeeded Italy just two years ago. Italy is also very important if we consider the value of organic market. So in worldwide context, we are on the 5th position. Our market account for around $3 billion of value, and this data not consider the value of export that we can estimate around 1.5 billion euro, and the value of organic products transfer on the private restaurants. So at the end, in conclusion, the value of organic market in Italy is around 5 billion euros, and it's a big performance, even if in the last years, as we can see after, our performance is not so strong, so good as we have seen in the last 10 years. And there are in these last 2 years some other countries, first of all French and then Germany, that continue growing, raising up faster compared to Italy. Going ahead, on this slide, we can see what happened in our peninsula concerning the organic areas. So we have already seen that in total we have around 2 million hectares cultivated on organic. This means that around 16% of total agriculture Italian areas are conducted with organic method. This share is quite high if we consider then in Europe, this average share is about 8%. So if we consider organic diffusion, organic distribution in Europe, we have a bigger percentage, a bigger share of organic. It's more or less the double. But more in deep along the Italy, the situation is not the same all over the regions. And in particular, we know, as in the south of the peninsula, organic agriculture is more developed in terms of areas cultivated. This is something that we can link to some different organic policies. So there are, as you know, a lot of public heads that come from Europe, in particular from CAP funds, in particular from the second pillar of Common Agricultural Policy, that want to push up to boost the organic cultivation, organic areas that are with a bigger budget, bigger resource on the south of Italy. So from now until now, the south of Italy have the biggest share of organic areas. Another very important data that concern the structural information of organic sector in Italy is the average size of the farms. So what we can see is that in Italy, organic average size is around 30 hectares. And this information is quite important because what we can see is that organic farms are usually bigger compared to the conventional enterprises. Can you hear me? What happened?
Yes, everything is fine.
Can you see the presentation? I have.
Yes.
Okay. If something happened, please stop me because I have everything black. Probably I have to share again. Okay. So the size of enterprises organic enterprises is bigger because of a lot of different, for example, different approach of new farms conducted by young people that for the first time approach to the agricultural sector and want that agriculture became their own business, the first business. So we know that now even more than in the past, it's important to have also big area to produce, to have a good offer to give to the market. Going ahead, I hope you can see the slide on crops. The main group of vegetable crops that are cultivated with organic method. What we can see is that also in Italy, like in other principal European member states, grassland is the most represented category. So we have more than 3,100 hectares cultivated on, for example, lucerne, alfalfa, or grasslands for pasture or for husbandry. And it's something that could be strange, but for Europe, it's the most important thing is not to use chemicals, pesticides on lands. So also these lands are important for the accountability of the sector. But there are other important crops, and in particular, I want to underline the performance of durum, organic durum wheat, that is the first cereal cultivated in Italy. We account around 100,000 of 100 hectares in Italy in the first crop after olive oils, and it's very important because from this crop we transform it to organic Italian pasta. That is the first product, organic product that we export to all over the world. Other important crops that I would like to share with you is vineyards. As the ambassador said, vineyard in the last 20 years raise up very fast. And so if we see this data around 100,000 hectares now, and when we compare to the surfaces we had just 10 years ago, we can see that the surfaces cultivated with vineyards for making organic Italian wine double in 10 years. Going ahead, I also would like to underline that another sector that is growing up very fast and is very important is bulk and fresh vegetable and fruit products, because people, as we can see later, appreciate a lot organic fresh product, and in particular now after the pandemic period, because people strictly connect fresh products to nature, to healthy, to wellness, and so this fresh product on the market are going very well, and increase is very fast. Farm operators, in this slide, I want just very fast give you an idea of the number of organic enterprises. So we have now around 80,000 organic operators, and among these operators, 60,000 are farmers, exclusively farmers, producer of organic products. It's a big number. We are first on Europe if we consider the number of organic enterprises that are certificated. And this number is growing up from more than 25 years. Also in this case, as we can see on the map, the majority of farmers are concentrated on the south of Italy, in particular in Sicily, Calabria, and Apulia region. On this slide, we can see what happened in the last 30 years. So this is trends. With the green bar, we can see what happened to the number of operators, and with the red line, what happens to surfaces. What we can see, as the ambassador said before, is that there was a boom of organic sector, in particular at the end of 19th century and the first time of 2000 year. Now the acceleration seems to stop a bit, but this can be connected to the to a rich balance, to a new equilibrium that probably we have reached, and probably now we need new form of policies, new form of ads, also a new campaign promotion to to grow up again and to reach new goals, new target. So farms at the end definitely grew up around 70% in 10 years, and areas grew up a bit faster because of, as we told before, the medium size of farms is bigger. So also the percentage of increase is bigger. This slide is only to show you what happened to livestock, to animal sector. In this case, the situation is a bit different, because what we can see is that livestock breeding is not raising up as soon, as fast as the land surfaces. So we have a lot to do to push the conversion also to husbandry, to breeding, because even if in some sector, for example, in poultry sector, there are some best practices, a lot of good enterprises that were able to sell very well organic poultry products. In other sector, probably there is something that we can also do for incentivate the organic sale and organic also breeding, in particular I refer to cattle, and in more intensive breeding, for example, pigs that are overspread in the north of the country. Now we want to give you a short fact, a short overview concerning the market. So on this line, we have already seen what's the value of the market. That is very important for Italy, and this grow up very fast. There is another information that we can see. So the incidence, the share of organic farming sales on Italian food spending is around 4%. This means that if a consumer go to a supermarket, for example, and spend around 100 euros for buying food products, only 4 euros go to organic products. And it can look as a very low percentage, but in fact, indeed, is not so bad, and this percentage is bigger compared to the most part of European country, except for Germany and French from now. And to give an example, we can say also that 90% of consumers in the last year, in 2020, have bought at least 3 times an organic products during the year. On the circle, on the graph on the circle, we can see the most famous, the most sector of organic sale retail. So again, fruit and vegetables are the first categories. Also, another important category where organic performance very well is, for example, milk and dairy products, so for cheeses, for example, and also eggs. Eggs in particular is a strange product where organic go very well because of probably the gap from conventional organic price is very short. So it's quite easy for Italian consumers to buy organic eggs. Again, this is the trend of what happened to the market, organic market, in the last 20 years. What we can see is that in general, organic market that now is underlined by green line, growing up very, very fast in all the year. But in the last 2 or 3 years, the line is and the gap to the total agri-food, conventional agri-food, became more and more closer. So something changed the last 3 years. Another interesting information regarding the widespread of sales along the peninsula. Also in this case, what we can see is the opposite that we have seen concerning surfaces. So surfaces are concentrated on the south of Italy, organic surfaces. Conversely, retail sales are concentrated on the north of the country, where the purchasing power of citizens are higher. So people are more rich and are able to acquire more organic products that we know are more expensive compared to the normal one. So going ahead, this is another slide that shows what are the main channels where organic products are distributed. To be very brief, we can see that nowadays organic products are in particular sell on supermarket and modern retail for around 70%. So in the past, in particular 10, 20 years ago, when organic start to widespread, to raise up, traditional shops, small shop are the best shop where a consumer can reach, can buy organic products. Now we can buy and we have a biggest offer of organic products on the shelf of supermarket and modern retail. Also discount store where we can find organic products with cheaper organic products are growing up very fast. And we know that this kind of channel will be probably the biggest, one of the more important in the future years. And very soon, I would like also to give you an idea of what happened to prices. This is very important for farms that decide to convert for organic. What we have seen, we have monitored as ISMEA, as my institute, is that also now there is an average extra price for organic products that we can see around 60%. But this extra price is not at the same level as is normal to think. It's not the same level for all the products. So we have, for example, a bigger gap in organic rice compared to the normal rice, and this gap is narrow for fruit and vegetable. So, for example, an organic prices for organic apple recognized to farmers are more or less 30–40% more than the conventional price for apple. And so this is a very big explosion variation on the prices recognized to farms. And this variety is the same that we can see also on the consumer prices. So the prices that citizens can see on our market. So in Italy, for example, what we can see from if we want to buy potatoes, organic potatoes, we spend around 66% more than conventional potato. But this percentage is completely different to other products. For example, we want to buy an organic apple in a supermarket, we have to spend around more than the double compared to the conventional one. This gap, as we told before, is narrow in other products, for example in eggs, where the gap is around 20%. I want to say that it's important that consumers, citizens recognize the difference among organic and conventional products, and also it's important to ameliorate the awareness to the quality of products and to the importance to pay more for this kind of products. Imports is something not so important in Italy. We used to import in particular products that we can cultivate in our territory, for example, cacao, tea, coffee, but we use also to import 60,000 of tons of cereals, for example, that we use to transform in pasta or for feeding breeds for animals. We import in particular from Asia and other non-Europe countries. And this could be something quite important to underline for our possible partner to North Macedonia, for example. There are some products that we don't have the we can buy abroad. At the end, I want to give you just some tips and my idea of what can be in the future. So in Italy now, organic sector is a reality, and for a lot of, in particular, new farms, it's a very important opportunity to grow up and to make a good business and to also ameliorate the income. As we have said, as also the ambassador said before me, there is after the COVID-19 a new healthy orientated attention of consumers to food quality, but also to the link between the food production and the territory. So it's very important now in consumer to reconnect directly, to know well where each single product is made. So this more attention on food quality probably is the base for a new reborn, new grow up of organic sector concerned on the first hand on surfaces, but in particular to the offer of the market. Another big opportunity is offered by Green Deal policy. As we have said before, with the new Green Deal that was that we know after the settlement of the new von der Leyen Commission, we know that a big quota of public expenditure will be destined to green commitments. And in this budget that is referred to green commitments, organic will have a big portfolio of resources. In particular, we know in May 2020, during the pandemic period, there was published a farm to fork strategy where there is the ambition target of 25% of organic area in European Union before 2030. And then at the end, there is also the opportunity linked to the new regulation of organic agriculture that my colleague Giacomo, after me, probably will touch in deeply. There are also some risks for organic sector. For the first, in my opinion, is the purchasing power of citizens that probably in the future can't have the possibility to buy organic products, in particular in some countries where the purchasing power is lower. So probably there should be the perspective of a lot of European countries or non-European countries that will produce organic products to export in richer countries. And it's something that we should tackle, and in order also to democratize the organic production among the citizens. And some tips for other countries that want to grow up with organic production can be to focus firstly on demand through, for example, promotion campaign, because it's very important before pushing up a national system based on public health. It's very important to force on demand, so force on the market analyzing the actual performance and ameliorate the awareness of citizens on organic production. And after, it's also important to invest on research and technologies, because we know that in the future, organic sectors can grow up only if average yield will increase. So the production in the future can be lower than now. And so it's important to invest in research and technology, also new kind of technology, and try at the end to aggregate products, production, and group of operators. And at the end, a last problem we have seen in Italy is connected to the administrative red tape and the system that is now is after 30 years, 40 years of CAP reform, now is sometimes not so flexible and light, as sometimes a lot of farmers prefer not to certify their farmers only because the administrative system, the administrative control system is sometimes too heavy. So a tip that I would like to give you is to define a flexible and very light administrative control system, and also a public head control. And with this, I thank you for the attention. I'm so sorry for the length of the speech, and I'm available for all question and observation, and thank you so much.
Mr. Meo, thank you very much. Your presentation was very resourceful. I believe that the people that joined today's webinar will ask many questions at the end of this session. I would like to ask Mr. Giacomo Mocciaro, who comes from the Ministry of Agriculture and the Italian government, and he will speak of the benefits of the organic production for the producers. So, Mr. Mocciaro, you can start. You have excellent presentation as well.
Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation, the Embassy of Italy in Skopje, and the Ambassador Andrea Silvestri, and Italian Trade Agency, and also M6 Educational Center, Elena, you, and the other colleagues. I would like also to greet all the participants to this event. I would like to greet the minister. I don't know if it's connected, still connected. It's a great pleasure for me to be connected with you, with all of you, because as the ambassador said before, I was in Skopje several years ago in the context of a twinning project covering both organic farming and quality products. It was a really nice and professional experience for me, and this event gives me the opportunity to talk of the news in the organic experience in Italy, and also in the evolution of the EU legislation. It's interesting to have a short history of organic farming, because the first pioneers of the organic movement lived in the 100 years ago, but in Europe and also in Italy, the first private standards has been applied by the farmers in the 70s, and after that period, the organic farming movement was very small sector, and very important step of this process was the publication of the first EU regulation. At that time, another logo was chosen for the labeling of organic products, and people started to know organic products, started to buy in the first time only vegetables, and then the second time also products from animal origin. And then after that first publication of the EU regulation, we had a gradual evolution of the market, growing market, and in 2007 we had a new regulation covering the trade aspect, also the import, export, preparation, and trade of organic products. And the organic market started to become a global market. And the next phase is the current phase, where organic is not only a global market, but is also style life. And also organic is like a model for the whole agricultural sector. It's like as we have organic is something like innovation sector for all the agriculture. And the reason of the success, as you seen by the thanks to the presentation of Riccardo, who I would like to thank you again for his availability to take part to this event. As you've seen, in Italy, we had a very strong success of organic in terms of number of operators and surfaces. And we have 2 million hectares and 8,000 operators. And the reason of this success, from my point of view, is the political support, the consumers' demand. And these two main aspects have to have a solid base, which is the credibility of the system. We have like a deal between producers and the consumer. And this credibility of the system is very important, because we, at least in Italy, we have very frequently, for example, sometimes 2 days ago, we had the TV program because it was found a lot of durum wheat which was contaminated coming from Canada, because it's something that people is very interested to. And the base of credibility is a good control system, reliable control system, and good and very strict rules, organic principles. I would like to start with the political support. Now it's very clear, because with the Green Deal, the Commission stressed this point. It's clear that the Commission and the Member States would like to support in the agriculture sustainable practices, and especially organic farming. And this is also in line with the sustainable development goals of the United Nations organization. And the farm to fork strategy, which was already mentioned by Riccardo Meo, set the objective to reach at least 25% of the EU agricultural land by 2030. This is very, hard objective, because, as you know, Italy has a good, we had one of the best average of organic land. We have 16% of organic, but the average in Europe is 8.5%. And we have, as you can see, 15%, more than 50% in Italy. Austria has 25%, but we have also other countries with less. So it's not easy to reach 25%. And for what concerns the consumers' demand, we already talked before with Elena. It's very interesting, the result of this public survey of the Commission, which shows that why people buy organic products, because they are concerned about the environment, because they want GMO-free products, or because they would like to have seasonal and local products. Organic products are more sustainable, healthier, animal welfare, and so on. Avoid food containing pesticide is the third reason. And in order to support, to make to be a reliable system, it's very important to build a solid control system. So I would like to share our experience in Italy. We have quite recent decree, which design and organize the system. And the Ministry of Agriculture is the competent authority which is responsible to organize the controls. And we have two directions. One of these directions is Directorate VICO, which is responsible for authorized control bodies, because in order to control farmers, we have 80,000 operators. We cannot control each operators as a minister, as Ministry of Agriculture. So we delegate this power, this task to control the farmers to the private control bodies, but we are responsible to supervise the activity of the control body. And for this reason, we have a specific directorate. We have at the moment 18 control bodies, but we have small control bodies and 6 big control bodies controlling more than 90% of the operators. And this is the system. I don't want to spend too many words on this slide, but just to understand the complexity, just to have an idea of the complexity of the system, we have an organic unit within the ministry. I worked in this unit for more than 10 years, and we are responsible for all the system, to coordinate all the actors, and especially to talk with the Commission, to take part to the meeting in Brussels, to decide the regulation. And we have a directorate responsible for the supervision and authorization of control bodies. And in the activity of supervision, we have also the cooperation of regions, because we have 21 regions, administrative local authorities, which cooperate with the Ministry for the Supervision. We have also the activity, we cooperate also with the accreditation body. And at the end, we have the control activity. The control bodies go to the operator, check if they are compliant with the rules, with the organic rules, with the EU and national legislation. We have also a register database, an official database where all the operators are listed, as you can see in the slide. And by clicking in one of these operator, in the name of operator, you can go to the information of the farmer, and you can also look at the certificate of the single farmer. So you can check when you buy an organic product, you can check on this website if the operator, the producer, is really organic, is really certified. And now I can go, I can change the topic of the presentation, going to the topic of the political support, because we have consumer demand, the control system, and we support the growth of the market and the growth of surfaces, organic surfaces, by an action plan. The last national organic action plan has been published in 2016, and at that time we decided to set some target for 2020. That time in 2014, sorry, there is a mistake. 2014 we had 1,400,000 hectares, 400,000 hectares, and we set the target to reach 2020 more than 2 million hectares. And I think we reached this target, because 2 million hectares, the data from Ricardo was the data of 2019. I think that we are very close to reach this target in 2020. And we set also a target of the market. And we also reached this second target, because if we consider both internal and export, we already exceeded this 5 billion euro of market of organic products. And the Organic Action Plan foresees 10 actions. I don't want to speak about each of these actions because it would take a long time, but I would like just to underline the most important, most interesting actions. For example, the first one is support organic farming through the Rural Development Program. Sorry, in general, for the action plan, we can take into account, we can use the different resources, economic resources. We have the most important economic resource is the Common Agricultural Policy budget, which is very big budget for all the agricultural sector. But we have also other specific resources which the government decided to make available for the organic sector. One of these is the School Canteen Fund, and the other one is the Food Quality and Safety. And as I was saying before, the most important is the supporting the support to the organic farming through the common agricultural policies. We had the Rural Development Plan. The program is still close to the end. And within the different measures, we have measure 11, which is dedicated to organic farming, with more than 2 billion euro, with a premium for people who decided to convert to organic from conventional, or people who would like to maintain the organic activity. And more or less, we are talking about of 10% of the total budget of the national program. But within the national, the Rural Development Program, national level, we have also specific project, different project, and in this context, for example, with the help of ISMEA, with Riccardo, and also another institute, research institute, it's called CREA. We published the conversion guidelines, brochure, videos, communication campaign. We also have a competition of successful stories, very interesting activities. And through these activities, we started to increase the awareness of people and farmers to the topic of organic. In this context, we have also a platform, a website platform, which is called the CNAB. And in this website, in this platform, we publish all the information about organic. So statistics, events, and so on. Another interesting way to support organic is support biodistrict. Biodistrict is a geographical area where farmers, citizens, tourism operators, associations, and public authorities, municipalities, for example, sign an agreement in order to manage local resources under the organic method. At the moment, we have 4 biodistricts, and we are trying to extend to create a new biodistrict, because it's very interesting way to support organic, because we link the organic with the land, with the specific area, so that we can, so that farmers can in the same time promote their own land, their own territory, and the quality of their product. This is just a case study. Valle di Vara is a case of in Liguria, which is an Italian region. Valle di Vara is one of the first biodistrict in Italy, and they are very active and together with the different associations like IAB, which is one of the first organic association in Italy, and Slow Food and other association. Another action of the action plan is, because it's still active, this action, the organic, the support of the organic products in the school canteens. The government decided to make available some resources in order to cut the cost of families for the meal of the students, of children, and also the school can use these resources from the ministry to create initiative for educational activities and training of the staff and so on. This is very nice, and we created two different levels. The basic level with a certain minimum percentage of organic products, depending on the categories of products. For example, 70% of fruit, vegetable, cereals. And the top level, we have some schools which receive more money, of course, because they guarantee a higher level of organic. Please interrupt me if you want to have a clarification, or we can reply to the answers later. And it's nice for me to mention also some private initiatives from the association. I would like to mention this initiative from Federbio, which is a federation of organic in Italy, and the 2 years ago they started this initiative, which is called Pesticides in Our Body. They involved a family, and they changed the diet for several days, and from conventional food to organic food, and they tested the level of pesticides in their bodies, in the different members of the family, and they demonstrated that after organic diet, the level of in the body of the active principle was lower than before the organic diet. So it's very nice. It's private initiative, but it's very impressive. And now we are talking about the new action plan in Italy, because we reached the previous target, but now we have to think to the new target of for 2030, and we can take the suggestion of the Commission. The European Commission published very recently, a few months ago, a new action plan for Europe, and they are suggesting three different actions, three different axes: stimulate the demand and assure consumer trust, stimulate the conversion and reinforce the entire value chain, and the third one is organic leading by example, improve the contribution of organic farming to environmental sustainability. So now we will have a consultation, and we will define a new action plan for the future. If I have still some time, Elena?
Yes, for sure, because we have enough time. Don't worry.
Okay.
To talk
because In the first moment, I would like to involve another colleagues to talk about this new regulation, but it was not possible, as you know. But I think it's very important to talk about this new regulation because, as some of you probably know, from the next year, from January 2022, a new regulation of organic farming will enter into force, into application. We have the current regulation, but in the future, from the next year, we will have the new one. And it was a long process. I took directly part to this process. It's legislative process in the European Union. It's complex process. But the most important is to mention is that in June 2018 we arrived to the publication of the new regulation, and from 2018 and to this year we are still working on that. We are drafting different secondary acts connected to the new regulation, and the objective is to have to complete the legislative framework, the new legislative framework, until the end of this year, in order to be ready for the next year. But okay, it's very wide topic, so I don't want to spend all the afternoon to talk about the new regulation, but just to have an idea of the new regulation. First of all, the scope of the regulation is wider than the old regulation, because other products, not only agricultural product can be will be labeled as organic, but also other products which are connected to the agricultural sector, like yeast, essential oils, beeswax, cotton, wool. They will be included in the scope and the field of application of the organic regulation. This is the structure of the regulation, and the annexes are very important, because in the annexes you can find the production rules for the farmers. And the complexity of this legislative framework is that linked to this regulation 848, we will have several secondary acts, delegated acts, which are used to amend non-essential elements of the legislation, or implementing acts, which are used by the Commission to define uniform conditions to implement the regulation. I know that it's very hard to be inside this mechanism, but it's very important, because you have to consider that we will have the Commission is publishing more than 20 secondary regulation, 26 secondary regulation, and at the moment, so we will have 9 regulations for production, 6 for controls, 8 for trade, to rule all the aspects of organic. At the moment, we are still waiting for the publication of several of these secondary regulations. So we will have a complete picture at the end of this year. I can already tell you that we are more or less in line with the old regulation, but there are some news. For example, we have the prohibition, the clear prohibition to have out of soil cultivation. We have detailed rule for crop rotation, which is one of the most important rule for organic. So the soil is put at the center of the organic method. Organic crops shall be produced in only living soil. And another news of the regulation is referred to the organic seed production. We had a big problem in Italy. This is part of our experience. The problem to develop the organic farm is also linked to the possibility to produce organic seeds, because the seeds are usually produced and sold by few companies, and these companies are usually expert with conventional sector, so are not experts to produce organic seeds. And now the regulation will help to develop the organic seed sector, organic seed production. And we will have the possibility also to register organic varieties and heterogeneous material. So we are talking about varieties that are not compliant with the seed regulation because they are there is a genetic variance inside the genotype of these seeds. And another important topic I would like to mention is the harmonization of measures to be applied in case of contamination of organic products. This was a topic which needed a long discussion between member states, because it's one of the big issues in the controls of the organic products, because people, as I said before, would like products without pesticide. And as you can see by this slide, usually this is an official report from EFSA. As you can see, the brown, the darkest column are linked to organic. Already is demonstrated that the organic products are less contaminated than the conventional. So this is very important for consumers, and we will work. We have to continue to this work, and this is part of the new regulation. What to do if a control body finds a contamination in the organic products? The investigation, the decision to decertified to conventional the product is part of our daily activity. And another connected to this last topic is the control rules. We will have a big change in the control rules because we have also the new framework involve also another regulation, which is the regulation official food and feed control regulation, which is applicable also to the organic sector. So I don't want to spend too much time on this because it's very it would require a specific webinar. But I can tell that the risk analysis is the key element of the control system. The issue is to focus the controls where the risk is higher, of course. It's something that we already have in our current regulation, but in the new regulation, it's very at the center of the control system. Another new element is the group certification. We hope that we will have the possibility to certify the small farmer as a group. So we hope that this can help small farmers, because we have also a lot of very small farmers in Italy. I don't know the situation in Macedonia, but we have a lot of small farmers which cannot pay the certification cost, but acting as a group, maybe they can be certified, and we hope that also in the BIOS district they can obtain the certification and to go to have the possibility to sell the product as organic with the EU label. And finally, the last new element of the new regulation is the import sector, import rules. At the moment, we have a system based on the equivalence. We accept imported products as organic, imported from countries outside the European Union if they are certified under private standard or legislation which are considered equivalent to the European regulation. In the future, something will change in the sense that we will have equivalence, but only in the context of trade agreement. The European Union will sign bilateral recognition of equivalence, for example, with the United States, Canada, or other countries, and we will have the possibility to import-export even if we have different rules, where the differences are accepted by both parts. In the rest of the world, we will accept imported product only if they are certified under the compliance regime, meaning that the farmers outside the European Union will, I mean, they will be asked to produce applying the same rules of the regulation, the European regulation. So I don't want to go in more detail in this topic, but we will have a big new element in this in the import regime. If some of you have some question, I'm very happy to reply. And another very important topic in the also related to the import is the part of the controls at the border, because we will have organization of controls in all Europe, because the European Union is a unique market. So there is an harmonization of controls on the imported products. And we have also, this is in this slide, you can see the system, electronic system, where the certificate of import are registered before the entry in the European market. At the end of my presentation, I would like just to underline that the new regulation, in the new regulation, we can find a substantial continuity with the current regulation, with some news, which already I have talked about. There is a high complexity of the legislation, and it's very important the application at national level. We have, for example, the group of certification. We are thinking on how to implement this system. We have to explain to the control bodies the procedure to be applied in case of group certification. And I think that for all of these reasons, we have the possibility to have a good cooperation between Italy and Macedonia on several topics. One of these is, of course, the legislation. Another one is the strengthening of the control system, and also on the field of promotion of organic products. I recently took part on a twinning project in Serbia, and we cooperated with the Serbian authority on all of these fields of activity. And I would like to show you one of these. The result of this cooperation is a brochure which is used in Serbia to promote organic. This is just a part of the brochure, but we in this document we explain what is organic, how the system works, and so on. I hope that we can cooperate also with you and with your country. And I finish my presentation. I am available for all the questions.
Thank you, Mr. Macharo. Excellent presentation. I believe that the people that are present here on today's webinar will have many questions to ask. I would like to express the Mr. Arian Hoja cannot join, and he is very sorry because he had some troubles, technical troubles, and he had to go to another meeting. He was supposed to share the information about the situation of the organic production in Macedonia. I will briefly say a couple of words compared to what you have said in your presentation. You mentioned that you have around 2 million hectares planned for organic production. In our case, it's only 4,000 hectares organic farming. I'm not talking about comparing the size of Macedonia and Italy, but 4,000 hectares is very, very small production. There are 907 different farmers and producers involved in organic production. Some companies produce dried herbs, preserved and processed fruits, most wild berries, as well as juices, etc. I know from first hand, because I work in the wine industry as well, that there are some wineries making pioneer steps in producing organic wine, even though the law of organic wine production is not yet implemented yet. There is law on organic agricultural production, which regulates the general provisions related to the production, processing, marketing, and labeling, and provides basic conditions for inspection and certification of organic agricultures. But there are no bylaws, and we have actually, let's say, we are not Italy in the 80s, maybe Italy in the 60s, now after your presentation. But I would like to ask, how did you manage to make the cooperatives? You mentioned the small farmers, which will again be crucial for our case, because there are many people working in the agricultural sector here in Macedonia. Around 180,000 families or entities work. Most of them are small farmers. Unfortunately, we have here in the country not good experience in cooperatives. That means even more stronger effort to convince them to join together to do something in this sense. So were you facing this kind of troubles or not?
Elena, yes, we face this problem. And in some parts of Italy, of course, we have different sides of our countries, but so we cannot compare the numbers. But I mean, we can compare the experience. The experience is that we face the same difficulties to create cooperatives and to in some part of the countries, we still have very difficulties to create. We have some sector in where we have economic crisis because of farmers have not the power to contract the price with the buyers because they are too small to contract individually. For this reason, it's very important, at least in Italy, the role of we call organic product organizations, which we create in order to rule also the production quantities and the possibility to sell. For example, sometimes in where we have an accidents of production, the organic, the producer organization can decide not to put all the product on the market, but just part of the product in order to avoid decrease of the drop of the price. This is part of our experience. Cooperatives are another good experience, but it's mainly located in the north of Italy, while in the south of Italy we still have some problems to create big cooperatives. But it's very important from my point of view because they can share facilities, buildings, processing and stocking I mean, stock-in structures, and it's very the supply chain works well, and we also trying to reinforce the supply chain with a tool which we call supply chain contracts. So this is a general, not for organic. This is we pay project, common project, which involves both farmers, processors, and traders and transporters, for example. They create a common project with some investment, and the minister can pay part of the cost. So the private subject can put half of the cost, and we cover the other half of the cost. This is very nice solution.
Elena, if I can add some points on this topic, yes. I would like to say, as Giacomo just said, that also in Italy the size of farms is a big problem, and what I can add is that also if we add some measure from the second pillar of the common agricultural policy, we don't perform enough. The measure for the constitution of a group of farmers, that is measure number 9 in our development rural programs, is the less measure for number of application. And we have, contrary, some groups of cultivation, and for instance, for example, fruit and vegetables, where there is a particular common organization market that is at the same time proposed by European Union, where the aggregation works quite well. And in this sector, for example, and as Giacomo said, in the north of Italy, in particular in the region of Emilia-Romagna, there are very big groups of farmers that cooperate and are able to export also abroad the products. For the other products, and for example, for cereal, where we have a very big surfaces, it's not the same, because also in Italy, farmers are so small, and sometimes there is a proper attitude of farmers to collaborate each other. And so it's not easy also for us in some sectors to grow up and to create a good offer of products of demand on the market. In particular, if you want to go abroad, if you want to export your product. So what we hope is that in organic sector, that sometimes farms are conducted by young people, this attitude could be different. And also technology, for example, that we need more technologies, more research, more also labor forces, labor work could be shared between farmers more than conventional agriculture.
Thank you both for the answer. I would like to open the Q&A session for the rest of the participants. Please raise your hand. There is one reaction over there button. You can raise your hand and you will be asked to ask a question, or put your question in the chat box. Since nobody is applying, I would like to ask a question, to open a discussion. Maybe somebody will have the courage to join us later. One of the issues is land consolidation, which will be the crucial issue here in the country. Because we already mentioned the small farmers. Good point, Mr. Mayor, that young people should be drivers and pioneers of this change in the country. Unfortunately, young people are moving abroad, and we are facing brain drain And that is why there is an urgent need for this kind of projects here in the country. And again, for the initiative to the Ambassador Silvestri, because really the agriculture is maybe one of the crucial industries that can change the economy faster than the other economies, because many families depend on this industry, or are involved in the industry. So you mentioned that in previous time the land for organic was pretty smaller than it is now. Does that mean that the organic producers have higher profits, they invest in more and more land, or what is the first step?
If I can answer, Giacomo, before you, no, we can come back to the same problem. So we have a big problem to the access of people to land, and so we start to try new tools for this problem. Regarding your question, it's not new land, but more people, more farmers that decide bit by bit to converge to organic farming. So the total amount of surfaces is the same. What has changed is the approach and the conversion of more and more farmers to organic sectors. And this happened in particular after the first period of rural development programs around 97, 2000 year.
Is that only from the rural program from your government, or is it something from the European Union as well?
The rural development foreseen that a budget, part of the budget is provided by the European Union, and part of the budget is internal budget, it's national budget. So they are both together in the rural development. We have different measures. It's not only measure 11, which I mentioned in my presentation, which is direct support the conversion from conventional to organic. But we have also other kind of measures. We don't have the possibility to have a infinite presentation, but we have other measures like support to cover the cost of certification. We have a measure for the investment. Sometimes, organic farmers can create, can invest in their own farm, and they receive support for this. If they demonstrate that the investment is will have economic sustainability. We have also other measures like advisory to cover the cost of advisory and so on. We have also collective measures. So it's a picture with many parts, many measures. Of course, you have to comply with several rules. You are controlled because you are if you, for example, you ask the support from measure 11, you will be monitored in order to check if you will be a real organic farmer in the future. So there is an engagement also by the farmer.
Just to give an idea, because I don't know if it's the same in North Macedonia, in Italy, the average price for 1 hectare cultivated on organic is around 300 euros per hectare. And there is, even if there is big difference, for example, if you are grassland, you receive from rural development around 150 euros per hectare. If you cultivate vineyards, for example, in a lot of regions, you have 900 euros per hectare. And this price is very important and helps a lot farmers take the decision to convert to organic. So this is measure 11 that Giacomo mentioned just a few minutes ago, and is the most important measure for farmers.
Well, I can say that in our case, it's even more. For vineyards, they receive pretty much the same, around 1,000 euros. And they didn't have to be even planted with the wines. We have to go deeper on this, maybe on some other meetings. We have one question from Alexander Yanevsky. Has the production of organic apples in Italy increased in the last few years? I believe it was in one of the charts, but maybe you can mention again.
Yes, I think I can answer to this question. Yes, absolutely yes. In particular, in the last 2 or 3 years, we have to say that organic apples production is concentrated on the northeast of the country, and it was and it is nowadays a very intensive cultivation. But now, thanks in particular to 3 different big enterprises of apple cultivation, the organic surfaces on apples grew up very fast. So it's not the first production in terms of organic, for example, compared to others like wheat or olive trees, but it's growing and it's rising up very fast in the last 3 days because of the market demand is very strong.
We have a raised question from Katerina.
Yes, hello, thank you very much for the presentation, Riccardo, Giacomo. It was really helpful to see so many information on the organic production. I have 2 questions, actually 2 notes that maybe you can comment on. I noticed that south part of Italia, which is actually latitude of North Macedonia, especially Puglia and down there where Sicilia is, you have most of the organic production, which confirms to me that in Macedonia, we have great conditions, environmental conditions to go with organic production, and we are still low in that. Not only vineyards, I work for a winery, so for me the vineyards are important, but in general, the whole production. So I'm interested in what institutional and professional capacity and help wine growers were having at the beginning, considering that around Etna, you have all the native and local grapes of Italia. So how people knew what exactly to do, how to spray, how to control the production and the quality in that terms. And my second question refers to the precision viticulture. Precision viticulture is something that requires huge investment in software, in GPS system. So is it part of the conditions that EU are applying for or are implying of at the very beginning, or it goes in the later stage of organic development? Thank you.
Yes, if I can answer first. Concerning the first question, yes, there's a big difference of surfaces destined on organic crops between the north and the south of the country, and the climate condition is one of the reasons, not the only one, but it's one of the most important. And you know that where the climate condition are is not so wet condition, it's more sunny, it's easier to cultivate in an organic way because you can control easily pest diseases and insects. This is the first answer, and then the other answer, the other link between the surfaces and the distribution of surfaces is connected to the budget that each region gives to push the organic surfaces. So to give an idea, Sicily and Apulia give more than the double in terms of euros public resources of rural development to the organic surfaces than another region of the north, for example, Veneto region. So farmers have more money, are more incentivized to cultivate in an organic way. Regarding the second question, Vineyard 4.0 and new tools for precision farming on organic. We have a lot of programs that try to develop new instruments to use also in organic agriculture, because the next step in our research and the next step that all the new European funds will go ahead is to use new technologies, and in particular precision farming in vineyard, but also on the other crops, also in organic sector, where until now we know a lot of, in particular, machine for distribution of pesticides or something like this were not used in organic sector. So it's the next step we have to afford in the future. I don't know if Giacomo wants to add something more.
No, I would like just to mention. Can you hear me? Yes. I would like just to mention that good opportunity, good tool for share experience, innovation between farmers is the innovation partnership, which is a tool provided by the Common Agricultural Policy, which cover the cost for sharing this experience. It's very important in organic because it gives the possibility for one farmer who has an idea, has innovation tools to share this experience and tool with other farmers. Another, and I would like just to add that precision farming and technology is one of the main mainstream topic in Italy in this moment. We are trying to support in many ways. We are talking also, the last topic is the use of drones in agriculture, because precision farming is another way to which can be used also in organic farming, but it's a way to reach the sustainable goals of that we were talking before. So the reduction of pesticide, the reduction of inputs, to make a good use of the resources, natural resources like water, for example. In Italy is very important, the use of water to avoid waste.
Thank you both for your excellent insight. We have one question. We actually touched the topic that the education and training of the employees in the control bodies is very crucial. You already mentioned 19 control bodies. So how do you organize this and who is financing this?
Sorry, the training of the inspectors and staff of the control bodies. Yes. Okay. Okay. We have different instruments. Usually, the control bodies are, obliged or required to guarantee the training to their own staff. especially to the inspector. So I don't think we have a national support for this. It's something that is covered by the same control bodies, but we have some possibilities. We have, for example, association of the inspectors, association of the organic farmer, which can provide training courses. And we have also have been involved in this program. We have also at European level very important tool, which is a BTSF program, which make available courses which are open to the control bodies, to the staff of the control bodies. We will have a new program. We will start. I think we hope before the end of this year, and we will have 2 years of session in the European Union. But usually these kind of training courses are also open to staff of the authorities and of the control bodies, also from countries outside the European Union, like Macedonia. So it's possible to take part, and the cost of the training in this case is covered by the Commission, the European Commission. I don't know if Riccardo would like to add something on that.
We have a couple of questions related to the organic production of rice, table grapes. So these are concrete questions, actually. Maybe we should not go into details. Maybe, so the idea of this project and these webinars is to establish further connection with you and maybe find B2B meetings on, or find connection and network with people from the Italian government or some cooperatives. Is that possible? For example, for the rice, we have concrete question. I don't even know what the name of the plevel means, which is.
I don't know. It depends of the question. If I know the answer, I will give you some data. Otherwise, I leave my email on the presentation and I can answer later.
So for concrete questions related to certain products, please feel free to write to info@m6.com.mk, and we will gather the questions and send to Mr. Mea.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Vesel Duka has raised his hand, so next question from him. Предоставите unmute лево.
Добар ден на сите, добар ден на учеснициве, фала на организаториве, фала на ексценцелието амбасадор, на Giacomo и на Riccardo. Grazie a averci a noi oggi. È piacerebbe con voi. Само нешто ми падна на слайдот. Значи во Италија има организирано мапа на органско регионални производители, што е кај нас уште не е спроведено и уште не е, значи, во таа мера. Значи во Италија го гледав дека имат кај да има производители на органско производство назначени со бои. Значи кај нас во Македонија уште го немаме тоа и уште не ги немаме, значи имаме производители на органско производи, а уште не ги немаме на детално кај да се наоѓаат тие производители. Нарочито во Дебар, во регионот кај спаѓам јас, е нарочито со традиционално овче сирење и органско производство на овче сирење, исто на житни култури и на производство на луцерка алфа-алфа. Значи, тука кај нас ние сме нови во органско производство, негде 2009 е почнато. Значи, уште го немаме тоа искуство на Европска унија и Италија. Значи, не знам дали денеска беа присутни организованите тела, значи, за што се во Македонија. Тие се Процеп и Приосерт. Не знам дали дека беа присутни тие се раководни тела што ги дават лиценциве за органско производство. Јас сум вработен во Државен инспекторат за земјоделство и сум во тек во таа, значи, по контроливе што се. И сам сум производител на житни култури и на други, на приватниот сектор. Fala na Giacomo, fala na Ricardo i na Aleksandrija и вие Елена за вашата организација за денеска добивме многу информации за органско производство и ми беше драго денеска да бев присутен со вас. Фала ви многу.
So, thank you for your comment. I believe that Mr. Giacomo and Mr. Meo switch to English to the translation?
No, sorry. If you can summarize, I understand something, but if you can summarize.
Vice versa. So the translator is
where's the translator?
Down in interpretation part. Okay. So Mr. Duca was greeting all of you, and he's very pleased. He got many information from you, and his comment regarding the size, the map of Italy, and the marking of the regions, whether there is organic production or not, etc. But I believe that it was just a map of the 20 regions in Italy, and it was marked how many hectares they have and what is the organic production. It will be simultaneously like in our country, depending on whether it's a region or geographical indication, etc., etc. So it's just Italy has 20 regions. They were separated and they were colored differently. This was not a separate map, I suppose, right?
We have 20 different regions with different administration, and on the map we have seen the different region with the different borders of each region. So also for organic themes, organic heads, for example, each region has a sort of flexibility and can afford in a different way organic themes, for example, application for rural development, public health, or something like this. And I want to also add something related to the rice production, because before I don't have the time, I would like to say that Italy is the first country for organic production of rice, and rice in Europe. And rice in general is one of the first crop where organic method developed in the past, because consumers, citizens are, the demand of this product was very high since the beginning of organic methods. So if we want to have more detailed information, you can write me, or there is also a very important website that is Ente Italiani Riso, where there are all the information also for organic crop related to these species.
Yes, we also, I can add that for rice, rice is one of the most difficult crop to have in organic because it's very hard to cultivate rice without use of chemicals or inputs. So we financed as ministry research project, and maybe we can share, and you can translate if you want the result of this project. And secondly, I would like to tell all of you that we have an English version of the report of statistical data of organic farming in Italy. So at the end of this meeting, we can share this document with you, and can be interested for all the participants. You can share this document.
Yes, thank you. We have raised question from Mr. Kostas Sopilas. I would like to introduce who Mr. Sopilas is. He is head of the EU Office Department related to the economic development, especially for agriculture development. He's responsible for CMO project here that is conducted here in the Republic of North Macedonia. So I think that Mr. Meo mentioned that about the CMO product. So Mr. Kostas.
Okay, thank you very much, Elena.
Maybe
thank you very much for for the introduction. This is really a very interesting starting of this meeting, and I would like to congratulate also the Italian Embassy for facilitating this. This is extremely important for the country and also with a lot of potential. With the European Commission, we are giving a lot of importance, of course, to the development of the organic production in the country, especially within the frame of the farm to fork strategy, which is a reference which is very a reference document which is very helpful and very interesting for this process. Concerning rice, we had 2-3 years ago a tax event in Kochani, where we had colleagues from agricultural cooperatives from Italy who came, presented very successful cases for, for organic and bioproductions, and this was really very, very interesting. And I think a lot of farmers, they were very much interested to have contacts with agricultural cooperatives. We also have a project supporting agricultural cooperatives in the country. We have a big project which we support the establishment of the legal and institutional framework. And then we support also something like 22 agricultural cooperatives with their own production for post-harvesting production activities. And we try to push a lot for for agricultural cooperatives with organic activities. It was not always easy, so we count a lot on your success. I mean, it will be good in the future also to include as much as possible also from line organizations dealing with farmers who can also help us and give their input on that. And we're looking forward for this continuation, and we'll be glad also whenever we can with our projects to coordinate and to do even common events with you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. It's a great idea to have a link with these different cooperation initiatives. So I would be very glad to have more details and to have the reference names of experts which are cooperating with you. I think maybe we are common knowledge of the different activities. Thank you very much.
Yes. The goal is the same, help the Macedonian agriculture to develop faster. We have Mr. Castro Tarifi who wants to ask a question.
Hi, thank you very much for the presentation. I wanted to ask Mr. Mayo about one fact that I saw in the presentation. It was interesting to see that the modern retail enjoys around 67% of total organic food sold in Italy. This is something which is to be expected. It makes sense, but I wanted to know what is the case with non-organic food or conventional food. Is it the same situation here? Does the modern retail also own the highest share of food sold in Italy, or other retail channels are more important in comparison with organic food?
Yes, thanks for the question. I tried to share the slide of the channel of the main channel of distribution of organic food products on the big retail sales, and organic food products in the last year, as we have seen, are shared for around 70% by modern retail. For conventional food, this percentage is around 90–95%. So the difference is because when organic products start to develop in Italy, and the demand from citizens became bigger and bigger, the first channel of distribution was from a traditional shop, and in particular we had a chain of private brand of particular market, traditional market, that start to push and to sell only organic product. So in the first time, organic products were selling particularly on the traditional shop. If we had seen the same slide 15, 20 years ago, probably the bar was on the opposite way. So organic products sold by traditional shop were around 70%, but bit by bit, modern retail start to grow up and to put more and more organic products on their shelves. And for example, there is now a new things, a novelty, that is a private label of the most important supermarket that try to sell organic products with their proper private label, acquiring, for example, directly from farmers. So now probably modern retail understand the potential of organic products in the future, and with their power and also economic power and also the distribution along the entire peninsula, it's easier to grow up faster. And the last thing I would like to say in that is that during the pandemic, during the first particular pandemic first episode, where all people forced to be into their house, and the only things that they could do in Italy was to go ahead to buy things in the supermarket. Organic products raise up even faster. So probably in the future, my idea is that we will have the same distribution that we have in the conventional products, also for organic.
We have one raised hand from Rukia Agic. Rukia Agic, sorry, I just sent you here in the chat box. What's your name? Please introduce yourself.
My name is Rukia Agic, and I'm a university professor at the Faculty of Agriculture of Science and Food here in Skopje. And first of all, I would like to thank to the presenters for the excellent presentations. I have two questions. First of all, regarding to the seeds, for vegetable seeds. And I think in the presentation you mentioned that it's a big issue, not only in European countries, but I think that is a worldwide problem. So my question is how the farmers in Italy solve the problem, or how they can find, or how do they know that it's available seeds, organic vegetable seeds in the country, or there is any database with the other countries, and how do they know about the availability of the seeds? Do you have, and also for the price, if you have answer for that. And the second question is about the quality standards. How do they feel? And before the entering the market, who is responsible for the lab analysis for quality of the products, let's say?
Sorry, could you repeat the last question? I miss for the lost connection.
How the farmers feel the quality standards, especially for vegetables? I'm interested. And before the entering the market, the trade, who is responsible for the lab analysis if they make? I'm sure that they have to make. And there is some accreditation of the laboratory or something like that.
Okay, thank you. Two interesting questions. The first, seeds. Yes, we have developed a specific database. I didn't show you in my presentation in order not to have a too long presentation, but I can show you in future event. We have a database where producer of seed can put availability of organic seeds. And we have different category of seeds. We have some categories of seeds for varieties or group of varieties which are not available at all in Italy. So the farmers can use conventional, not treated by chemicals, but they can use conventional seed. Then we have group of varieties where the seeds we are sure that is available, so we don't grant any derogation for those. We have few varieties, and in the middle, depending on the availability in the database, the farmer can consult the database and check if the seed of varieties or similar variety is available and where is available. And so it's something that we are trying to reinforce, because it is not easy. It's easy to speak, but it's not easy to let the system work. And it's very important that we have a working group specific on seed with producers and farmers, and we discuss within this group how to develop the production of organic seed, which are the varieties that in the next years and the future years, 2-3 years, we can decide to produce as organic. Because the problem in the past was that the producer of organic seed, they were not able to sell the organic seed because the price is higher. So the farmer, if they can have a derogation, sometimes they try to receive this derogation because it's cheaper. But we have also good and very good initiative, a group of farmers, for example, cooperatives, which are trying to produce their own seeds. This is something that is growing, the importance of this self-production of seeds, because year per year, this production is good, is improving in quality and quantities, and some cooperatives are trying to produce their own seeds. But it's something that we still have to work on. It's something that still needs an effort by all the actors. Secondly, the laboratories. Another interesting question. We have a list of authorized laboratories for organic, and the responsibility is, first of all, is the operator, because the operator should have in place a self-control system, depending on the risk of its own activity, depending on the, if you remember, I only said that in the new regulation, the risk analysis is the core. And this means that also the operator should have in place this analysis of the risk. And for example, the operator itself can take samples sometimes of the products before to sell in the market. The responsibility is, first of all, on the operator itself. Secondly, is on the control body, because also the control body under the European legislation has the responsibility to guarantee a minimum number of samples and analysis. So depending also in this case on the risk analysis of the control bodies, the inspectors can take samples and analyze before the selling in the market. the same is for the import of products. Products cultivated in Italy and products imported by third countries. So I hope that.
And at the end, sometimes there are some additional controls up to the buyers. So industry that buy organic products can pay for additional controls if the internal rules pretend to have a higher level of ambition, for example.
Even the supermarkets, I think, yes?
Yes, for example, if you have a contract, a direct contract
With
farm,
the
B2B,
yeah.
okay, buyers or supermarket in this case can pay for additional control if you want
sure,
even more control that all the other public system that Giacomo mentioned before.
Yes, because not only the farmers has the responsibility, but all the actors in the supply chain has the responsibility of the product which is sold in the market.
Thank you very much.
This topic is really relevant now, and I mentioned that this development can help Macedonian economy, Macedonian agriculture especially. But I mentioned at the beginning what is needed, and you already point that there is a need for strategy. You mentioned the new plan. I wish lots of success in implementing this action plan that you mentioned. Again, I would like to thank Mr. Ambassador, Mr. Silvestri, for this project, and maybe a few words to close up, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you, Doctor. I would like, first of all, to thank Dr. Mochar and Dr. Meo. I knew them since I worked there for a long time, also in the Ministry of Agriculture, but they made really an excellent presentation, and they were able to reply to so many questions, and this was really very interesting. I would like also to thank all participants to this event, the Minister, who apologizes for not being able for the technical problem, but we discussed a lot about this project, the idea of sharing our knowledge, the knowledge of our experience in agriculture, food, and environment, and is very supportive of that. So for sure, next time he will be with us again. M6 for hosting this event. Just a few comments also, not pretending to summing up everything that has been said for 2 years and a half, 2 hours and a half. You mentioned the fact that organic production in North Macedonia is a bit late in terms of size and experience, but this can be also an opportunity. We can see also the other way around, because you can benefit from the experience of a country like ours with, by the way, with a similar structure, because we also have a lot of small farmers. So as we've heard, the challenge is not just technological or economical, but it's also an organizational one. We've heard that we have the experience of cooperatives, but now we have also new form of gathering, which are the biodistricts, and this also is very interesting. Another interesting point was the use of technology, because one can think of organic as a sort of a traditional way of producing in agriculture, but it also demands an increasing support of technology, of precision farming and drones and so on. So this was the first meeting we are having, the first of a series that will continue, and I hope the next time we will have an hybrid event or in presence, depending to the condition related to the pandemic, but it was a very successful one, and we are very happy. I would like to thank everybody who contributed to this event and participated in it. Thank you. Blagodarom.
Thank you everybody for participating. Again, thank you, Mr. Ambassador, for the idea and the opportunity that M6 to be partner of this project. I wish a good evening to everybody, all the best, and looking forward to see you on the next webinar.
Bye, see you.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Bye.